Greetings, I am Adventure Argonaut, and this is the Golden News, where we discuss news and current issues, politics, and stuff like that. So, first, let's see if all the streams are running. Are they working? Yes, they seem to be working right now, which is very nice. So, without further ado, let's get this show on the road. So, first, let's talk about the Olympics and the women's boxing. Everybody's heard about this controversy, I'm sure, that the um, a supposedly biological man has, done well in the women's boxing in the Olympics. Imane Khalif. That this is the beautiful lady right here, and last week, Imane, whatever he or she, beat the Italian boxer. What was her name? Carini or something. And Carini, she gave up after 46 seconds because she has never been hit so hard, and then she complained about it. It was unfair that she has to fight against a man, but then afterwards she apologized, which sort of suggests, like, well, some people say that it's basically women who overwhelmingly voted for men, or men who identify as women, to be in women's sports to begin with, so they don't sympathize with, of course, but you don't know if whether this particular all the women who have to fight against these men in the Olympics, whether they were personally responsible. You don't know that, but of course, like, if Carini apologized, then it's she's not a warrior, so she, like, because I did sympathize with her when she said, like, it's not fair that she has to fight against a man, but of course she should have known better. Like, maybe she shouldn't have stepped in the ring at all, or yeah, Angela Carini, she abandoned the fight after 46 seconds. And yeah, it's not, she said, it's not fair and it hurts like hell. But I suspect, I don't know, but I suspect the reason she apologized was because of either the Italian Olympic Committee, or the International Olympic Committee, or the government of Italy, or some bigger political organization or something. They told her she should apologize, like, oh, you don't want to be known as a transphobe or anything, and then she was sort of forced to do it. But yeah, it's it's not still, she's not a warrior, it's not heroic. Like, of course, this whole issue is stupid. um like we can see here, not here, like, South Park made a parody of this already, like, 5 years ago. None of this is new. So this is like, why wow like, why are we still talking about this? Like, why hasn't the issue been fixed? It's sort of like just demoralizing, because I think this is like the ethos of the modern era. Like, we see, like, people who don't have their heads up their asses, they see these problems coming a mile away, but they refuse, like, nobody refuses actually to address the problem and fix the problem before it grows into a genuine problem. It's like, I don't know, like, let's say, like, you keep throwing, like, your bottles of kerosene in your kitchen, and then you keep also smoking in your kitchen, and then somebody says like, hey, maybe you shouldn't smoke in your kitchen, you might burn the whole house down. And it's like, oh, you stupid conspiracy theorist, shut up. And then one day, well, the kitchen catches fire. It's like, oh my god, who could have seen this coming? Like, this is a prime example of that. Like, it's obvious it's gonna cause problems, and it's of course ridiculous and stuff. There's one more thing I wanna check, like show about the article. So because there was, yeah, this person, what was it? What country was this? Algerian Imane Khalif, and then there was also some Taiwan's Lin Yuting, who is also, so yeah, the IBA, the International Boxing Association, they failed their gender eligibility rules, which I assume means that they are biologically men and not women, so they weren't allowed to box in official games. But then for some reason they were allowed into the Olympics for some curious reason. I wonder why. So, anyways, and then where was it? Yeah, here. So somebody, Sky Nicholson, WBC Women's World Heavyweight Champion. So yeah, Nicholson says like, I've actually fought and sparred both of the girls. They were born female. Nicholson said in a video on Instagram, they were born with an XY chromosome, which is usually for men, which is the male chromosome, but they were born with female bodies and they have physical attributes of a female. So does it mean that they don't have the PP, they have a hoo ha or whatever, or what? I'm not quite sure what it means. But yeah, they have grown up as girls, as women. They have competed as women the whole time. These are not the naturally born men who have decided to call themselves women or identify as women to fight women in the Olympics. Okay, but yeah, that's basically it about this issue for me. However, I would still just like to, mention this is one of countless issues nowadays that people who just look at things rationally, they see these coming a mile away. There's nothing like, of course, this is it doesn't make sense. Like, if indeed these are, well, it said they have XY chromosome, so biologically speaking, they are men then, right? Okay, let's move on. So then, this is a short story, but Kyle fight over the soul of Kyle Rittenhouse. The AI made Kyle Rittenhouse here a bit more, buff and action hero than he is, but whatever. Um, but yeah, there was this news few days ago that, 4 days ago, that Rittenhouse U-turns after saying he won't vote Trump because he said, or initially, that he will write in Ron Paul on the ballot instead of Donald Trump, and a lot of people got angry over it. And it was like, isn't it his right to vote for whoever he can? Like, of course, you can say it's not like, politically, it's not a very good decision. Like, it's not tactically good because Ron Paul isn't gonna win the election. But I do, personally, I guess I would prefer Ron Paul over Donald Trump too. But of course, he's not even running, and I think he's getting really old too. Like, I would have really loved Ron Paul to have become the U.S. president in, was it 2012, when he had good momentum, but I think it was sort of stolen from him, like by the Republican Party, if I remember correctly, the candidacy or whatever. But that's neither here or there. But yeah, lots of Trump supporters complain about it, that that, oh, you shouldn't do this. And then, like, some people like this, guy Cat Turd, he even said, or I think originally he said something like he's blocking Kyle Rittenhouse and it's like horrible. And then Kyle Rittenhouse said this: over the past 12 hours, I've had a series of productive conversations with members of the Trump team, and I am confident he will be the strong ally gun owners need to defend our Second Amendment rights. My comments made last night were ill informed and unproductive, blah, blah, blah. And then Catcher said, I was harder on you than anyone, but I can't hold a grudge when a man apologizes. Just remember, when it was political poison to take your side, Trump and MAGA was there for you during your lowest point. Well, yeah, I remember, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial when it happened, and I saw the videos online, and yeah, I was, 100% correct that he was innocent, that, it was self-defense, at least based on the videos I saw. Like, of course there could have been some materials that, um may could have shown a different light on the story, but he was acquitted, and I think that was the right decision. That is not to say that, I politically agree with Kyle Rittenhouse on issues or whatever, because I don't know that much about his beliefs. But I do agree that, Ron Paul would have been a nice, would have made a decent U.S. president. But I don't think he's getting really old, and I think his train has sailed, as it were. But yeah, it's like there were lots of Trump supporters. Like, it sounded like a cult, like, really getting upset over it, and like, oh, you said the heresy, you're not supposed to do the heresy, and hashtag not all Trump supporters, but some of them, especially like, Cat Turd, especially the way he reacted in this issue, he really sounds like some sort of handler, like, right wing handler of online celebrities or something. I don't know. I just thought it was really weird. I'm not the only one. There were also many others who commented how oddly many people. It's like they were genuinely upset. Like, of course, you can criticize him if you think he's stupid. Like, it's like I said, it's not that politically it wasn't the most tactical decision if he were to write in Ron Paul on the ballot. But oh well. Let's move on to the next topic. So it's the financial collapse. The whole world economy seems to be collapsing, and all of that. And I don't know. Like, do I care? I don't have much money, anyways. So was it really affect me? Because it's the whole economy is a scam. Like, I don't claim to understand the intricacies of it, but it's clearly a scam. Like, just like look at the pandemic and stuff, how it was mainly used to destroy small businesses, and big businesses were allowed to open and gain even more power. Like, IKEA stores were allowed to stay open because they were quote unquote like, essential businesses, whereas, small stores weren't. And it's not like, grow you can live few months without buying IKEA bags or the furniture or whatever. It was complete, bullshit, like, corporate takeover. And one, comment I saw somebody on YouTube make a few days ago, that, some economists or economic, and I'm no economic specialist or anything like that, but I just, I just think that the whole economic crap is bullshit. I've thought so for so many years. But anyway, so they say that they try to avoid saying recession, because just saying we are in a recession might trigger a recession. And it's like I guess it's like a very direct way of saying how bullshit it is, like how arbitrary, this capricious, all this economy stuff. Because, like, I've had this analogy for years that is like teenage girls gossiping, like how the economy works. that the girls are gossiping, like, that guy John, he's a bit weird, he does this thing, he smells a bit funny, but that, Chad is really cool, and then maybe it's gonna be different, like maybe Chad does something wrong the next week, and then he's not cool anymore. It's like, it's so arbitrary, it's so unmasculine, in my opinion. Like, this whole, finance based, like where the economy is worshipped. It's become a god and stuff. It's bullshit, effeminate, and the world is looking more and more like Weimar Germany from 1920s, and with all the debauchery and inflation and everything. And it's like, well, how did the things go there? Like, these people say they really hate the Nazis and stuff, but the people who claim to hate them the most, they are the ones creating the conditions that led to the Nazis the first time. So we're just gonna see what happens, and because just to have a very brief history lesson, because like Weimar Germany, they had all sorts of sexual degeneracy, debauchery, and stuff like that, and high inflation, and people had to use wheelbarrows to bring money to the store just to buy bread. And then the guy with the mustache got elected, and he changed things, and economically Germany did recover from, like, being completely broke, both morally and financially. And then just in less than 10 years things look good. And this is a fact I actually learned from Star Trek, like the original series. There's one episode that uses it in an interesting way, but it's like, that is a fact. Of course, you can say many things what happened after the war started, but like during peacetime there were probably some policies that were good. And I can understand people don't want to emulate the mustache man too much, but maybe there were some policies that we should at least consider, like if we don't want the world to keep spiraling further into the cesspit that it has begun. And okay, let's move on. Anarchy in the UK, the unrest and the stabbing and everything. So let's have a look at the articles. So yeah, there was this guy, 17-year-old. I assume he's of Somali origin. Alex Ruda Kubana. He stabbed three children and killed them, and then like attempted to kill 10 others. So yeah, he murdered Bebe King, 6 years old, Elsie Dot Stancombe, 7, and Alice De Silva Aguiar, 9, at dance studio in Southport, Merseyside. And yeah, when he was 11, so that was, I guess, 6 or 7 years ago, he was in some Doctor Who BBC fundraiser, dressed up as Doctor Who. And of course, the British people are upset over this, especially since I don't think like, okay, this is mainstream media reporting on the issue, which is good, but like, my impression is that they're probably trying to downplay, because that's how it works. That's how it's worked in Europe for the last 10 years at least. That when when an ethnic minority does something heinous, you're supposed to downplay it, not to encourage the quote unquote far right. And I guess you have to be far right nowadays to oppose somebody who likes to stab children. And yeah, he's 17, but I think it says that he's gonna be 18 in a few weeks or something. Um, so yeah, like when a minority does something bad, the establishment covers it up for them. There's countless examples of it over the past several years. Whereas, if it was a native British guy doing this stuff, then it would be all over, and it should be toxic masculinity and white supremacy or whatever. But now it's just like, oh, it's sad, and we don't know what happened, and is of course, the problem is forcing people with different beliefs and different cultures, different ways of looking at things, forcing them to live together. And then when you punish one side, when they say, hey, maybe this isn't working, like, you punish that side, but when the other side says, hey, there's something wrong, it's like, yeah, you are right, you are right. Like, it's preferential treatment. And of course, it's like preferential treatment on behalf of the invaders, the invading populace. Um, because I am an immigrant. I am from Finland. I live in Hong Kong, but it's like I just, because the narrative in public over immigration, it's so dumbed down that either you love all immigration and you're a good person, or you're a horrible Nazi if you oppose it. But of course, it's not that black and white. Like, one issue is that there is this, every main, like, big institution, governments and everything, they are promoting immigration into Europe from Africa or the Middle East, and or the third world countries. Like, personally, I wouldn't mind, like, if somebody from Iraq wants to move to Europe, and he actually he knows how to behave like a decent human being, then it's fine. I have no problem with them. If an Iraqi guy loves Finnish food and ice hockey, or Aki Kaurismäki movies and whatever, and sure, and he obeys the laws, I have no problem with that. If he wants, but the main issue is that often when immigrants in Europe nowadays, if they commit crimes, they are let off easily. Like, they are not punished at all, or hardly punished. And sometimes, like, wasn't there a case in Germany just a few months ago that, like, some immigrants raped somebody, or was it raped or killed or whatever, and then some woman complained about it online, and she got a harsher punishment than the actual criminals. Like, just a woman saying, like, oh, these crimes are a horrible thing and we should stop them, and then she is the one who gets punished. And I'm laughing because it's so awkward, but it's also like, in one sense, Europeans do deserve it, because they've been ruled over by tyrants for couple of decades already, and they haven't done really anything about it, because Europeans have been so pussified and stuff. But anyways, like, I'm an immigrant in Asia, and if, first of all, I don't get any government handouts here. Like, either I work, or I have savings, or or I don't have money to pay rent and buy food and stuff. I don't get handouts, and if I was to commit uh, violent crimes, I'm sure they wouldn't hesitate to use the law and the authority of the police against me. And of course, the governments in Asia usually aren't busing hundreds of thousands of immigrants from Europe into their countries to replace their populations. There's completely different way of doing things, like, so yeah, just to reiterate, I'm not against immigration itself, but if it's like, if the immigrants are treated better than the local populace, then there's a problem. And especially if it's your government doing it, it's like maybe you should consider doing something about the government. And okay, let's move on. And just to have background, this is not the only issue like this recent stabbing. The Rotherham child exploitation scandal from 1,400 girls were abused by grooming gangs in Rotherham, England from 1997 to 2013. And the authorities, and of course the abusers were Pakistani origin, and the authorities supposedly knew about it, but they claimed that they didn't want to do anything because they didn't want to get accused of racism. And I think it's mainly it's like half true, but I do also think that one reason they didn't do anything is that they were somehow complicit, like maybe they were paid some hush money, or maybe they were part of the trafficking operation, maybe they also participated in illicit acts with these girls, and who knows what. But this is just the background. I'm not going to go into the details so much, but like, and now the British people are pissed off, as they should be. So yes, some rioting or something. I'm not sure what's going on. Are they attacking immigrants or what? But at least it's titled here that the British people are done with foreigners murdering their children. I'm not sure what the context is. And there's another. People rioting. Yeah, here it says people are rioting in England because they are sick of mass immigration. They didn't vote for it, but it was forced on them regardless. Well, yeah, this is voting. That's interesting because England had the election just few months ago, where the Tories, the Conservative Party, lost very bigly, as they say. And of course, then the the Liberals, they won. The Labour Party. That's I was like, what's the word? Labour Party won, and because and lots of conservatives or conservative leaning people said that, well, they they deserve to lose the Tories because they had backstabbed the people, very seriously, and that's of course true. I don't disagree with any of the other statement, but like, now that the Labour has full mandate basically, then we see what happens. It's just and I'm not saying, well, they should have voted for Tories anyways. Like, does it really matter who you vote for? Like, I have very little faith in democracy nowadays. Like, hey, I guess I would like to be proven wrong, but nowadays it just seems like democracy is the the cause of most of our problems. And here, here's the new PM. Was it Keir Starmer? Like, the name is sort of funny. Like, it is like a character from V for Vendetta, the comic or quote unquote graphic novel. Like, but in there it's like, fascist government taking over UK, but this is not fascist, but it's tyrannical. Like, nowadays people like to talk about they like to label their tyrannical government one way or the other. Some say like, yeah, this is fascism. It's like, no, no, it's not fascism. It's communism. It's socialism. Whatever. Just call it tyrannical. It doesn't. It's gender neutral. Doesn't matter if it's left wing or right wing or progressive or conservative or whatever. It's tyrannical.
Be in
Just
no doubt, those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law. The police will be making arrests, individuals will be held on remand, charges will follow, and convictions will follow. I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online and then running away themselves. This is not protest. It is organised, violent thuggery, and it has no place on our streets or online.
yeah. So if you're a native Briton and you are unhappy with the state of current Britain and you make it known, the government is gonna crack down on you. But whenever the immigrants do stuff like that, they're sort of like they might do something, but not enough to really take care of the problem. So yeah, I do advocate for regime change in the UK and well in both most European countries. So yes, and a radical regime change, and just to make note that radical does not necessarily imply using violence or bombs or anything like that. You don't have to rig C4 into a government building. Radical means getting to the root of the problem. And I guess we should be discussing what is the root of this problem? What really causes this problem? Like, of course, one obvious reason is that pretty much all of the politicians, they are not beholden to the people. They have their bosses are in other avenues, like they are not servants of the people, nor not like even like let's go back 1,000 years to feudal times. Like, okay, the king wasn't necessarily the servant of the people, but at least he had like it was his country, or like the dukes and counts and stuff, it was their land and they usually wanted to take care of it. But nowadays it's this global elite who have their weird alien agendas that decide how things are done. So I guess that's the root that we have to address, or like to try to determine what is the real root of the problem and how to fix it. Let's move on. So yeah, this is what the streets of Bolton looked like yesterday. Literally looks like Pakistan. Yeah, somebody shouted Allahu Akbar, and it's like, well, maybe this is just some festival, Islamic festival. Maybe it's nothing, but I just want to note that this is partially the result of British imperialism, because like nowadays is some more right wing or conservative people like to say that, oh, the British Empire did nothing wrong or whatever, but I think they did plenty of wrong, because they wouldn't have so many Pakistanis and Indians in UK if they hadn't been part of the empire for over 100 years. Like, it's gotten into a problem just in the last few decades maybe, but it's like it was a head start for this replacement level migration or attempt to do so. And what was this? It's just a meme. Some Allahu snack bar, kill the infidels. We are here to protect you. I just said I don't want my children to get stabbed. You are going to jail, you Nazi. Yeah, this is very succinctly making the case of how it works. England and most of Europe nowadays. And it's like it's just like none of this is like a surprise. It's not like it suddenly happened. Like I'm an old fart, so um, I don't want to go too deep into stuff that happened a long time ago. But like, let's say the when 9/11 happened, and then there was the Patriot Act in the U.S. And of course, I didn't know much about politics back then, but it was like obvious that the Patriot Act, it scared me. It was unfortunate, and of course, like in Europe, of course, U.S. started all these, crusades in the Middle East, Bush's crusades and stuff, and Europe happily went along with it, helped with it, the coalition of the willing and everything, and and Europeans, like, of course, people spoke out against it, but nobody really did anything about it, and well, this is where we are now, and if people don't do anything now, then 10 years from now we are going to be even worse off, and 20 years from now everybody will be, I don't know, won't be around probably, who knows. It's because people are ignorant and lazy, and when you point out the problem to them, they think you are the bad guy and not the ones who are creating the problems. That's just how it is. And I don't know, maybe I should have started like a podcast 20 years ago when the internet was new, but of course I back then I wouldn't have known what to say really. But anyways, there was yeah, this fun video. So the police are
Okay, so
they
Did
are
you want to
arresting
have any
somebody over
alcohol?
Facebook
okay, well, I'll
comments.
tell you. Okay, the time's 20 to 3, 1440. I'm arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the electronic communications network. Under
What?
127 of the Communications Act, okay? So you do not have to say that may harm your defence if you don't mention one question, something which you later rely on for. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand that?
So I'm actually being
You're going to
arrested.
be arrested, okay?
Right,
Take you
and-
up to the police station.
Right.
Ask you, okay, this is in relation to some comments that you've made on the Facebook page. Okay?
Oh, really? Oh, it's a Facebook crime, is it?
Okay.
Right.
So
Facebook crime.
we need to ask you some questions about that.
Right.
Have you got anything in your pockets, Thomas?
I've got my keys. I that's about it, I think. Keys.
So, anyone who's been arrested, we can search them under Section 32 of the Peace and Benevolence Act.
Right.
It's for dangerous items.
Hey, I mean,
I just think those. There's still a minute left, but what happens at the end is basically the guy getting arrested. He's like, oh well, should I bring my medicines with me and stuff, and it's like it's funny how polite they are. Like this guy, he looks almost like I could kick his ass in a fight or something, and I'm no Rambo, Bruce Lee, whatever. Like they're sort of this pencil neck kind of bureaucratic people or something. Like, yeah, the woman almost looks a bit tougher than the guy. Like, I guess there's some muscle here, but anyways, it's sort of just funny. But yeah, UK is a tyrannical state, run by a tyrant, and I do think a regime change would be good for the UK. Let's move on to the next topic. And which is internet internet influencers paid by political groups. So there was just a few days ago, just saw like Mr. Metaker on Twitter commenting on this issue. There's some YouTuber called Xander Hall. I don't really know who that is, but there were some leaks over. We're trying to read the message. Like some leaks that he was supposedly paid by some political organization to promote them and their agenda. So I have, he says here, this looks like it's from Discord or something. I have messaged Brianna myself. When you are back online, we need to have a conversation about your future employment. If I am saved, it will be no thanks to you. If I am fucked, it is your fault for not making sure they paid me. You swapped the fucking numbers and they weren't able to pay me because of that. And now the 4K is on its way to some fucking guy now. So does it mean that the political is this PV Progressive Victory is the group that supposedly paid him, but they gave them the wrong account number, and now the money is going to some other person. So Zanderhall's shield for this political organization, but now he doesn't even get the money because they screwed up. That's what it sounds like to me. Like I could be wrong. And let's check the next image. Yeah, it's just the new Progressive Victory project is so cool. So yeah, this is just, I guess, from his video about this Progressive Victory and how cool it is. I don't know. It doesn't sound cool to be some Progressive Victory. Like, it doesn't sound cool, at least. Yeah. It's a picture of him, yeah, making this video or whatever. There's people, we love Progressive Victory. Yeah, you have been doing charity streams. Okay, the comments there. And then the last picture. Yeah, this is the yeah, you can join the Discord. So they I think they mainly do their stuff through Discord. And of course, it's Progressive Victory, so it's some, I guess, Democrat adjacent left wing group or something. And guess we can have a look at this. So yeah, this is the website of Progressive Victory. Always getting my V's and W's confused. So let's say about our community. Progressive Victory is a new kind of political community built by the internet for the internet. Our community is turning the tides in elections across the country. Progressive Victory seeks to challenge traditional methods of political organization by engaging people through online media, with a focus on building solidarity with streamers and social influencers. The PV community is based online, hosted in a dedicated Discord server. PV works closely with online content creators on Twitch and YouTube to get their engaged, dedicated audiences to the PV community Discord. Yeah, Discord Tranus. There we are bringing new people into the political process by giving them tactics, resources, support to make their voices heard. Progressive Victory is constantly growing with new members joining the community every day. The community is built upon the values of equity and inclusion with zero tolerance policy for hate. All members are tasked to sign up onto the PV rules before gaining access to the community and are upheld to the highest standards. Okay, like zero tolerance policy, like, they're having a meeting and then they have lunch and somebody gets, I don't know, like a freaking boiled egg, and then somebody's like, ugh, boiled egg, I really hate boiled egg. It's like, how dare you, and then you're fired, because that's all. When they complain about hate speech, hate crime, hate is a bad thing, it's like, why can't we hate anything? Like, emotion should not be banned. Hate is a normal human emotion. Like, is, of course, if you do something because of that hate, if you commit a crime because you are hateful, that's a different story. But that's not the issue of hate. It's the issue that you commit a crime. Like beat somebody up because of, I don't know, they have the wrong colored T-shirt or something. Anyways, our mission, Progressive Victory, is committed to building our community of new to activism volunteers by empowering members to develop skills and gain knowledge needed to become lifelong activists. Progressive Victory's unifying mission is to ensure progressive candidates are elected to positions of power and progressive victory is implemented. Over the long term, Progressive Victory aims to create a progressive power bloc with the Democratic Party that is too big to ignore. Progressive values unity above all and seeks to connect progressives across the ideological spectrum with the common goal of creating a more just world. Regardless of our differences, we unite over the need to take pro democracy action in these unprecedented times. And okay, directors are Sam Jurumala, he, him, and Cameron Jones, they, them. Of course, they, them. They. It wouldn't be truly progressive if they didn't have a they, them, or something, or Jim Jar or something. And this Zamjurmula fundraising, being an elder millennial. What does that mean? I don't know, like an elder vampire. So like, yeah, he's an elder who is over a millennium old. Like Vampire the Masquerade stuff or something. Recruitment and keeping members engaged in priority political actions. Yeah, sure. But yeah, this is the progressive victory, and then there's another thingy. There's accusations that Kamala Harris is being accused of allegedly paying influencers and celebrities $20,000 to attend DNC convention through PR agents. And the YouTuber Yellow Flash, he made a video of this, and he also said that allegedly Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, that he might be also paid by Kamala to promote her because he's been doing it heavily on Twitter and stuff. So yeah, there, and this, I think this was supposedly sent to some, was it like some conservative YouTuber? They was like, they thought like, oh, he's gonna sell out for $20,000 to promote them. Like, hey, I might sell out for that kind of money. But I don't know if I could do it. Like, I would puke trying to, if I tried to sound like, oh, I'm really excited about Kamala Harris, then it's like, I would just puke over my laptop and destroy it and stuff. Uh, So yeah, they want attend DNC flight hotel blah 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 blah, and it's being paid for the required social media post. And yeah, at least the Yellow Flash video, he said something about like, you get paid for a 90-second TikTok video, get paid lots of money and stuff. And of course, this is like, and via Dom Luker, he's I know him on Twitter. I don't know if he's a reliable source, but it's just neither of these stories, I guess, can be said to have been confirmed 100% or anything. But the implications are interesting because well, it's not really news in that sense, but it's like if there's confirmation that certain YouTubers or influencers and streamers, they are paid by political parties to promote certain messages, then it's like, I don't know, it just makes everything even more fake and gay than it already has been. And so I think, and personally I do think that many are paid by some sort of political group, and it's a good question, like which one, like, are they just US groups, some international groups, or what, like, they try to Democrats like this one, they say it openly that it's tied to the Democratic Party in some way, or like Republicans, or yeah, whatever political ideologies or groups and whatever. So like, and I do think like most, um, let's say, successful influencers that the algorithms love, they are sus. Like, because for me, I'm basically nobody, and it's very very difficult even on like Twitter. Like if I post, make a tweet on Twitter and I'm not like replying to somebody, hardly anybody sees it. It's heartening. So, and then there's like, of course, if you already have a big name, then it's, of course, the algorithms will catch you. But it's like, getting to that point, I do think oftentimes, not always, I'm trying not to sound too bitter, but there is possibly some sort of preferential treatment and money exchanging hands and promises of political favors and stuff, possibly. um and so, yeah, I urge people to be suspicious, when they see somebody promoted heavily on the social media spaces and stuff. Like, for example, back when Jordan Peterson became really public figure, like almost 10 years ago now, and pretty much every member of the so-called skeptic community back then was promoting him and praising him and stuff. And I'm not saying, like, Jordan Peterson, sure, he has done and said some good things, but then he has said also very let's say pro tyrannical things as well, especially in recent years. But like, I just thought it was sort of inorganic how everybody was suddenly talking about him. And I'm not saying that all of these skeptic YouTubers and whoever that they were somehow paid to promote Jordan Peterson, but maybe it was just a couple of them, and then the others saw like, oh, I should, everybody else is talking about this guy, then maybe I should also talk about this guy. And because, of course, if you are some sort of YouTuber who discusses current issues and stuff, of course you want to talk about the issues that everybody else is talking, because you also want to gain the attention and traction and whatever. But, like, you don't have to control everybody to be able to control the narrative in on the internet public spaces. Like, you just have to push it into a few directions, a few tactical pushes, and then the narrative starts going to the right direction. And of course, like, the so-called bread tubers, I've heard allegations that they're financed by somebody, or whatever, some groups, like years ago already, although I'm not even quite sure who exactly classifies as a bread tuber and who doesn't. But anyways, I think I'm done with this issue of golden news, and I can assure I'm paid by absolutely nobody to do this. Like, yeah, that's depressing to think about. But anyways, I'm Adventure Argonaut, and I thank you for watching. And please do follow me on any platform that you happen to see me or listen to my voice on, whether it's Kick or Twitch or Rumble, YouTube, or even Twitter and stuff. So, yeah, I'm off. This is the second golden news, and I thank you for watching. Bye bye.